call to order at 7 p.m. We'll have Dorothy Neptune lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We thought you will stay in the national anthem.
Right, item 3.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 5th, 2024, and the special meeting of March 21st, 2024. Each member received copies for review.
Second. All right, any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the monthly reports of March. Each member received copies for review.
Second. Questions? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, very brief opening comments. I'm predicting this to be a relatively short meeting. And I think one of the main reasons,
nothing.
I know, I think one of the main reasons is we had 2 meetings last month. And we got a lot of business done at that last meeting, which leads me to think, and I'm just throwing this out there. But I would say maybe 8 out of 12 months a year, we need 2 meetings. So I think I would rather almost plan to have 2 meetings every month. And then if we don't need one, we can cancel it. That way we'll have, a better idea. We can arrange our schedules. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So I thought whatever we did last month worked well. That was what, Thursday?
Yeah, it was a Thursday.
Oh, we're entering golf season. It's all different now.
We have to rethink that.
Well, what works? What does everyone think?
Doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't
matter, really.
I liked what we did last month, the week before. In other words, 2 weeks in a row. Or at least no more than 1 week apart is good. All right, let's do this. We're gonna propose, we'll send out a date for this month. And then we'll, if it works out well, we'll make that a regular date for every month. And we'll make it work. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, so now we will go to public comment. Live first, anyone live that would like to make a public comment? Tina Royal, please introduce yourself and comment.
Yep, my name is Tina Royal. I am a resident of Naugatuck, Connecticut. Have been for a while. Thank you. I am a 10-year member of the Naugatuck Community Emergency Response Team. We have recently gone through some changes and some revamping of our team for the better. We would like to make sure that the town is safe. Put ourselves in it any way we can. I have our lead team here. If it is okay, I would like to have them come up and introduce themselves so you can put faces to names. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Pizzagelli, and I'm also a resident of Naugatuck and 11-year member of the CERT team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ella Pizzagelli, and joined the same time as my husband 11 years ago. We're a Naugatuck member, Naugatuck residents, for 20 years.
And Ellen is also on the garden club.
Okay.
She devotes a lot of time. She was out yesterday in the cold. Flowers.
Hello, my name is Frank Finkel. I'm a 3rd-year member of the CERT team. My current position is kind of twofold. I serve on the communications department within our organization. My role would be in a case of an incident, making sure that we can communicate to all of our staff, whether it's through telephones, radios, runners, whatever the case may be. I have some extensive training. I've done at least 15 courses for the CERT program, first aid, AED, fire extinguisher, those types of trainings that we would need and experience that we would need out on the field. I've also been asked, as I hold a license with the Assemblies of God out of St. Louis, Missouri, to serve as the chaplain for our CERT team as well.
And Frank is the first chaplain that we've had. And he serves, it's, I think the equivalent position to say a police or fire chaplain, that his services are available to our membership at any time and, support for, them when there are incidents that may cause some type of grief.
Hi, my name is Anita Finkel, and I am a resident for 59 years of Naugatuck, my town. I serve on as part of the communications lead team.
And neither is Frank's wife.
Dave Williams, I'm a current Naugatuck cert for about 5 years, 9 years total. Resident of Naugatuck, and I'm excited to be part of the team.
And Dave, prior to being, in Naugatuck, did some time with Middletown with their emergency management, department. And he brings a wealth of knowledge to us.
Yeah, we're gonna hope to, he is big and is, useful as middle from what he's told us. My name's Phil Heathen, I've been in the CERT team around 5 years. Been a resident here for a long time, volunteered in the past for our town, so I'm happy to be volunteering
We've seen
again.
you around.
Pardon?
We've seen you around.
Oh, yeah, well, I was on the ambulance, fire police, so, and other things. And I'm on the transportation and vehicle committee.
Thank you.
And Phil and I ran ambulance 40 years ago together.
What, we were 11 years old when you did that?
Yeah. What you have in front of you is a slideshow that we have started to use. We did the Exchange Club. We're doing a few more clubs, organizations within town to let them know who we are and what we're here for. We are here to give information on preparedness, but we also do other things. We have 182 hours of, 182, no, 1,182, thank you. 1,182 hours of training as of last year, through the year. We have started off this year doing the same thing with, training events every month. We have two training events this month, and we'll be having our own training events within our CERT team. We will be working with, some other organizations, with the fire police, hopefully the police department. I have an event I'd like to talk to you on. Just a, FYI. And some other organizations, to bring things to the kids in town. I have a student tool for emergency planning for grades 4 through 6 that we're going to try to get through. I've sat with Julie and Kim on this, and they gave me some ideas of getting it into the YMCA, getting it into Naugatuck Youth Services has already offered to have us do classes there for them, along with mentoring programs for the town. So everybody will know who we are. We're also doing things for the seniors, the senior center. We will be at their fair on April 18th. We also have an emergency financial first aid kit, which will be done by our lead trainers out of Homeland Security FEMA. They will be doing that. But we just wanted to know that we are here. We are not going anywhere. We are going to build our team to be better and to be bigger without losing our ground floor. Our ground floor is Naugatuck, and that's what we're here for.
So first of all, thank you.
You're very welcome.
I've been watching your progress over the last several months and I'm very happy and impressed with what you're doing as a group and, it's excellent for the town. I do have one additional task that's gonna come up tonight. That would it be okay, Fran, if I threw it out for discussion? See what they think. So on the agenda tonight, we're talking about something we've already decided, but we're acquiring 3 parcels of land from the Connecticut Water Company around the Mulberry Reservoir and the Candy Reservoir. And we are connecting some trails up there that will be on town property and also on water company property. So one of the conditions of our acquisition is that we make an effort to monitor the trails. I don't mean, you know, patrolling it extensively, but responding to complaints and, you know, just keeping people as best we can on the trails away from the reservoirs. And of course, the police will be involved, you know, the whole town will, but we will be looking for some volunteers for that task if you think it would be something that would be of interest to your team.
Interested? Okay, we're good.
Okay, all right, well, thank you, and we'll,
We are, okay to do anything for the town of Naugatuck. We have areas that we can do. I know I'm going to be talking with a couple of people on wellness checks. It is in our rules and regulations kind of for our CERT team that we can do wellness checks on people. So I have, Sherry Hatfield was looking for somebody to help her out. So we are going to offer our services for that also.
and I would just say that public safety is critical to every town. And we have our police chief and our fire chief, they're doing great. Our street department's doing great. Our fire police have really come a long way. Our ambulance, Kyle Kelly will report next. They probably made the most progress of anyone. We have a full-time emergency management director now. And I would say that, you know, public safety in Naugatuck has been enhanced. And this is icing on the cake that'll make it even better by having volunteers to fill in the blanks where needed. So I'm very excited about it and, thank you. And, you seem to be well organized here, so.
We're getting there.
So who do we call? We call you, Tina, or when we have a?
Who are you gonna call?
All right.
I just wanna add that Tina was a little nervous when she first got up there and I started to teach her about the 1,182 hours. That was just last year alone. That, and it's primarily the group you see here took the most hours in last year and, it came to a total of 1,182.5 hours. And we decided on a change from last year to get away from an autocratic system to it's a self-supervising team. And this is our leadership team, and they're there for a reason. Because over the years that they've been on, they've been doing the work. And I decided to talk to Tina a while back, talked to a few of the members and said, I prefer if you guys supervise yourself, you are the leaders, you've demonstrated that you could be leaders. And, you know, there's certain things I have to approve, but unless it's so far out in left field, if they present it, it's getting approved.
We haven't attempted that yet. We'll let me know that. But just so
Baby
you know.
steps.
Baby steps. Just so you know, also, it's nice to go to some of these events and talk to some other CERT teams and realize that they are asking us to be a part of their training and to be a part of their forums because of what we are doing here. They've noticed over the past few months what's going on also, so.
And it's great to have relationships with other towns. So.
Yeah, and it's not even closed towns. I mean, we have Shelton and Wilkes, yeah, Wilkes. And we also have Wilton, Weathersfield that want to do forums from here, so. It's
All right,
nice that we have that.
Nice.
Anyone have a question for Tina?
No, I think you do a great job when you come to the podium. I don't know why you're so nervous.
That's been there forever. I mean, I was with Fidelco for a while and I was the, chairperson for the Fidelco, charities and in the Watertown area. And I had to speak in front of 600 people and I had the dog at the time and she would know that I would be nervous, so she put her head right over my feet. But I would do the same thing. I would tell everybody at the beginning, if I turn purple or blue, don't worry about it, I'll be fine.
All right.
Thank you.
She's like me, she's shy, she doesn't talk.
Yeah, yeah.
I sit in the corner and he hears it later.
Great job.
But we just wanted to thank you because, we know that, you know, you're a part of what we do too.
Well, thank you, and, we'll be giving you a call.
Once he gets me cards, I can give cards away. I don't know.
Keep up the great work, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there any, further public comment, either in the room or on Zoom? I would like to recognize, Kim Gallo. I see her up there recuperating at home, so how you feeling, Kim?
I'm doing pretty good. It's no two ways I had surgery, but I feel good and I get a little bit stronger every day.
You look good.
Thank you.
All right, any last call for public comment? All right, we're now gonna move to a presentation. With us tonight is Rich Donovan from Naugatuck Valley Cog. And Rich is now our Valley Lead Transportation Expert. So, taking over for the great Mark Nielsen. Rich is gonna give us some good thoughts for tonight. So what do you got, Rich?
Well, that's the goal at least, good thoughts. Yes, so thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm Rich Donovan, I'm the Director of Transportation Planning for the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments. So, you know, we're in the middle of quite a bit of work, and but one of the most important, one of the most exciting ones we're doing right now is our first regional active transportation plan. So, you know, this is the first time we've come to one of the towns about this plan. We want to start here because of all the great work you guys have going on here in Naugatuck around active transportation. And so we want to share a little background on it. We want to share kind of the vision, but we're writing this plan for our towns. You know, we are the regional planning agency, but we don't implement, everything is implemented by the towns. And so obviously your feedback and your thoughts on this plan are what's most important to us, and it's how we get to something that's valuable for our members. And so just to get started, a little background on it, right? Within the transportation planning department at NVCOG, our number one priority, everything we do is focused on mobility equity. Giving people the option to get to where they want to go from wherever they are, by whatever means they choose. And for a long time, the Naugatuck Valley, like the rest of the state and the rest of the country, really had the one option. You drove where you wanted to go and that's what you had. And we're seeing changes on every level to that. But one of the big ones, one of the biggest changes we're seeing is this active transportation movement. You look at the greenways across the state, and some of the options that those open up. You look at even the new technology that's coming out around it, right? The micromobile devices, e-bikes, scooters, and those types of things that open up a lot of options for people. Well, so we, as the 19-town region here, want to help guide the towns as they implement strategy, so that instead of a bunch of disconnected networks, we have one logical regional network. And that starts with what is going to be the spine of our system, the Naugatuck River Greenway. And that's that 44-mile trail between Torrington and Derby will not only open up the opportunity for people to get around, but will serve as the center of a broader network. And the goal is for that center to then have spines coming off into each of our towns and into each of our communities that give that same type of limited access, fully protected and separated connection for people who are walking, riding bikes, whatever they're doing, into the towns that don't directly border the Naugatuck River, as well as the parts of towns that do have the trail. And then the final piece off of that, right, once the network, that network is in place, is getting the connections locally. And those are the sidewalks, those are the bike lanes, the in-town type facilities. And so, like I said, right, we're very early in this plan. It is the first time we as a region are doing this. And so we're here really to get feedback from your residents, from all of you. And so I'd like to, just pass these around. So these are just little information sheets with the project website and a link to that survey. And we have a file, and we'll be over here for residents who come in and want to. But this is one piece of a very broad public engagement strategy around this, right? So we've held the first of what will be several public meetings. We're doing these as design charrettes. We're putting up boards with some pictures and asking people what they want to see. We've held a couple of information sessions. We're looking forward to our first virtual one in the next couple of weeks. We are working closely with the technical advisory group for us, the Transportation Technical Advisory Committee, of which Jim is a member, who is also providing valuable feedback for us and helping us out. And then the survey, right? We have some online resources for people who can't be in person or can't attend some of our limited time slots. And so, this is the best way we can get feedback on what our towns want to see, what our residents want to see. But the goal, again, is to put a plan together that's useful for everyone. Something that can be not only a resource for towns as you're planning what your future active transportation network might look like, but something that helps you put grant applications together. Something you can point to say that this is something thought out, not just in your town, but across the entire region. And ultimately, something that helps us make the argument with the Connecticut Department of Transportation and US DOT that we have a plan here and that we're working to implement that plan, and that plan is going to make life better for our residents and people who come to visit our towns. And so I'm happy to take any questions, or if there's anything additional I can talk about here, happy to do so.
How are you gonna get the survey out to all the residents of the various towns?
Yeah, and so that's a great question. What we struggle with all the time. Part of that is coming to these meetings, again, part of it is we've got our own social media. We're trying that method. We've been working with some of the local newspapers and some of the local media sources, trying to get it out that way. But really, it's community groups are helpful as well. And so we're trying to engage all community groups in the region, but any ideas are welcome. Anything we can do to get that survey in front of more people is a win for us.
But maybe you could give one of these to the reporter that's behind the curtain.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's always the challenge, not many people know that we're here. And when they do know that we're here, they don't know what we are. The number of times that people confuse us with Naugatuck Valley Community College is embarrassing, but we're getting there, right? We're trying to get our name out and build that presence a little bit more as well. And so one of the ways we can do that is these types of programs where we're getting feedback from residents, and certainly any ideas, any help to get that word out.
So, Richard, speaking for myself, and I think almost everyone in Naugatuck, we're all in on the Greenway plan. But if you send me by email the survey, I'll put it on my social media.
Great.
And then everyone here, I think the more people, who answer the questions, the better off we'll be. So, let's just spread the word and keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. And, Naugatuck Valley COG is applying, tell them about your infra build application.
Yeah, so in this last round at the end of February of this year, we said, we submitted an application to raise the Rebuilding America Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity program through USDOT. The goal is to design a 16-mile section of the Greenway from Greenfield here in Naugatuck up through East Main Street in Thomaston. And so if we can get this, if we're awarded this, and we get this design done, this will be a 16-mile section of the trail, fully designed and well prepared to go out to construction. The goal here is to start really connecting downtowns and start connecting cities. There's segments of the trail that are built, they're relatively small. The closest we have to connecting downtowns right now is between Derby and Ansonia, but it doesn't go into downtown Ansonia. And so while the trail is starting to come together as a recreational resource, it is yet to reach its potential as an economic driver, as a means of transportation. And that's, you know, for us, the recreational aspect is one piece, it's a fun piece, but the real opportunity here is giving that other option to people who want to get around. And
Rich, I don't know if I told you this, but we won a $400,000+ connectivity grant, and they're actually building it right now over near St. Francis Church, but that's gonna be designed to have better bike access, not just downtown, but out to the Greenway and beyond. So we're already in, and we will do whatever we can, you know, to promote it further, but the greenways are fantastic, not just for the residents and recreation, but for economic development. And, you know, we're having a fishing derby on the Naugatuck River. Man, when is it? May 18th. And Deep is involved, and they're stocking the river regularly, you know, right where the bike path and the greenway is. So, you know, everything is coming together. The Kinneytown Dam, you know, we have so many great things happening that are coming together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say in my lifetime that I wasn't as optimistic 10 years ago as I am today. So it's great work.
yeah, we wanted to start here in Naugatuck because of the investment you're making. You know, you're doing all the right things, you're improving infrastructure downtown, you're investing in the trails, this is really the model that we want to see across our region. And the more we can connect communities and the more we can support that economic development that comes from this, the better.
Yeah, just one question for you. I noticed lately the Naugatuck Valley Council of Government seems to be reinvigorated, seems to be moving faster, things seem to be happening. Do you have a new chairperson up there or something?
We do.
And who's that?
Well, I don't want to take away from Mayor O'Leary, who was a great chair, but in the time that Mayor Hess has been in charge of our board, we've certainly seen a lot going on. And, you know, we're very thankful to the
This
state.
Bill is a great
for
guy.
funding.
Good friend of mine from there.
Oh, we have a great staff too.
So congratulations to our
You're,
mayor, the new chair.
Your younger staff has convinced me that your generation is gonna make it, so I was starting to lose faith, but I
I
see,
hate to
I
say
see
this,
so
but I'm
much
pretty
talent.
sure,
I
I'm pretty
see
sure my
so
younger
much
staff is
talent
not the
with
same
you
generation
that,
as me, huh?
it's exciting.
No, we've been fortunate. We're at a spot where we've been able to hire some really good people. We have some good local talent. We've brought some talent in from, you know, our transportation team. We've got Minnesota represented, Alabama represented, DC through Berlin. So
We had
we've got,
Sam and Nicole here last night at the planning commission.
yeah. No, we're in a good spot to really support our member towns, and so that's what we're excited to be able to do it. And we're hoping that some of these bigger activities that we're working on now, things like this active transportation plan, really can take that to the next level, both for what we can offer for you, but also for what you can do with what we're putting together.
One of the largest groups to get a hold of people, of course, is the school system. I don't know if it would be allowed or not, but you might want to consider talking to the superintendent and seeing if these things can go home, because there's always communications going home to the parents. And maybe they could work discussion into a lesson plan somewhere on it.
Maybe you can talk about it during public comment at the board meeting next week,
That would be a great idea. And
Thursday night.
the state has, so the federal government reopened the Safe Routes to School program. The state's been really involved in it. And so, you know, getting kids on bikes, getting kids walking to school is a big priority at every level right now. It's a fantastic idea. You said that's next week is the.
Next Thursday.
Great.
All right, thank you, Rich.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Kyle Kelly and his monthly report. Kyle?
Good evening, everyone. I will make it short. I just want to highlight a couple things. The month of March was another busy month for us with just over 450 calls, lots of mutual aid. One thing I wanted to touch on, we were able to purchase a new LifePak cardiac monitor with the help of Ion Bank and Post University. For majority of that funding, that's going to help us add another paramedic at different times throughout the week and help schedule that and add that to our service and our region. And just to note, you know, today was one of those busy days. We're at 17 calls so far for the day, and 4 of those being mutual aid calls. So, you know, we're pushing on. Our folks are doing well, doing their best. And that's all I have for now.
All right, questions for Kyle? All right. Item 9, Borough of Naugatuck Development Plan. So as promised, every month I'm gonna make a very brief update to the development plan that I presented and we went over last month. And what I'm gonna do is just go through them very quickly. I may say everything on schedule, nothing else. But if anyone has a question as we go through this, I think it's good that that everyone know what's going on, because there are lots of moving parts. Things are happening, every day. So, the first project is our ARPA Downtown Complete Streets and Utility Project. So the questions that are coming up, I'll say 10 people a day ask me why there are fences on the green. And I will say that, it's a good question. But what everyone needs to know, if you don't know already, is that the stormwater drainage from the west side of Naugatuck comes through the green and eventually goes through parcel B to the river. So we couldn't develop parcel B and have a downtown railroad station if we didn't re-divert that water. So the water will be diverted. There will be some extensive work on the green. Now, the project is a 16-month project. We have construction meetings every month, and we're aware of the summer concerts on the green. We're aware of the festivals in September. So what we're going to do is to try and come up with a plan for fencing to keep everything open as much as we can. And we're gonna have periodic reports. But next week, item 1 on the agenda is gonna be this summer. So we're gonna get some better definition of what's gonna happen this summer. And we're gonna try to arrange it to keep as many things on the green as possible. So all I guess I'm telling you tonight is that there will be a lot of work on the green. There will also be some amenity work on the green, but I would say only 4 out of 16 months are gonna be working on the green. So it's a question of timing, and we'll work it out as best we can. Questions? All right, Naugatuck Industrial Park, moving very well. Tonight, in executive session, we're gonna discuss and possibly vote on 3 development agreements for new companies that, wanna come to Naugatuck and start building right away. So I can't really talk about it now, but, if you stay till the end of the meeting, you can get an update. Rail line, train station upgrades, that's the state project. They're on schedule. They expect to have their design in place, before summer and go out to bid. Their bidding process is, extensive and takes quite a bit longer than usual. So as of now, it'll be fully designed, bid this year while we are building the road network for it. And they are planning to start construction on the train station and train platform next year. Major hub development, Connecticut community challenges. As you know, at our last meeting, we approved the final plans. So they are being finalized, and that'll go out to bid in the next month, say 6 weeks. And construction will start in probably June or no later than July. Now, when construction starts, that's gonna mean the event center, the road in front of it is gonna be blocked. And there will be some timing issues with what's going on at the event center which we're working on. But the project is right on schedule and we'll start construction, this summer. Parcel B and parcel A, they are intertwined pretty much with the train station project. They're gonna be timed so that, everything will fit together. And think of it like this, we're doing 4 major projects simultaneously, essentially on the same site. So there are a lot of nuances, a lot of moving parts, a lot of interaction with 4 sets of engineers, but everything is on schedule. Rubber Avenue project on schedule. We see a lot of activity out there now. And, Rubber Avenue will be built, most of it this year, going in, to next year. Greenway. Next phase in Naugatuck, from the Maple Street Bridge to Greenfield. We did receive funding for a design and, we are interviewing designers. And we've actually picked one. And that project, the designing of it will start, I'm gonna say in the next month or so. We're still looking for funding for the construction. We have a few options, one of which is LOTSIP, but we have other options. And we'll be discussing, Rich, with you, with our grant writer, the best option to fund it, but it's easier to fund once it's designed. So that is, moving ahead, and that'll connect, Linden Park, the Pulaski Bridge, all the way across, so it's very exciting. Besides sidewalk improvements, nothing new. Now, those are our projects that are underway. Last month, I'm gonna say we had maybe the most exciting 24-hour period, since I've been there, between, Friday afternoon and Monday morning. We received 3 separate grants that we were awarded. And, the first one, the federal government gave us a federal earmark of $1,375,000, which was approved, believe it or not, in the federal budget in Washington, DC, so that our senior center will be upgraded. In that regard, the preliminary plan would be to improve the garage, make it usable space, connect it with a hallway to the existing building, and then upgrade the interior and exterior of the building. The timing is a little bit unclear, but, the money is allocated, but it's not ready to be used yet. So we will be, determining the best way to design that project, but that was great news. Also, on the same day, we learned that we won a second SIP, Community Investment Fund grant for the state of Connecticut. This is our Scott Street, Nettleton Avenue project that we applied for. We received $5.7 million. So that's gonna be a great project that will really help the Scott Street area. It'll help, our sidewalk program, get underway, our townwide sidewalk program. It'll help stormwater issues in the Nettleton Avenue area. It'll help Rubber Avenue. So it's a great win. It'll also help the Riston site and, designing of the new street department building, Jeremy, on the Riston site, which will also house emergency management, the ambulance corps, and those buildings will be sold and added to the tax roll. Maybe even a CERT team, I don't know, are they part of what,
They're part of emergency.
Yeah, so they'll be in that building as well, right?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So, that's underway. And then last but not least, DOT, gave us design money to design the pedestrian bridge that will go from the, parcel B near the train station across the river, to connect to land where we envision a municipal commuter parking lot, which is right at the on and off ramp from Route 8. And what I see, Rich, as, not a planning expert like you, but someone who's been around a little, that area will be very popular to people who want to use the Waterbury branch line, maybe from Waterbury, from other towns, Middlebury, because it'll be much easier to go into a commuter parking lot, walk across the rivers 50 yards to a train station than to drive into downtown Naugatuck and look for a parking spot. So DOT loves the plan, and they're supporting the design, and it'll be a great addition to downtown. It won't happen right away, but it'll be a great way to bring more people to the downtown area who will be commuting on a Waterbury branch line. So great for the branch line, great for transportation in the valley. So those were all major developments. The other thing I'd like to add, just to keep everyone up to date, is the Amazon project is moving pretty quickly now, and they will be coming to the land use inland wetlands and zoning this summer. So they're finalizing their plans and will be submitting them. So I didn't think that many things would happen in a month, but a lot of things happened in the last month, and it was all good news. So I guess I'll stop there and take questions. All good?
Oh, good, that sounds good, yeah.
All right. So town sidewalk improvements, we're gonna pass that for a month. Jim Stewart is on the line, but he had to stay home today to help with a family medical situation. So I gave him the day off. You don't want to add anything, do you, Jim?
That must be enough.
Sorry, there you go. No, nothing new to add today, other than the pedestrian connectivity project is going very well on the north side of Church Street, so we're happy about that.
All right, take care of your wife.
Will do.
Okay. All right, at this point, we're going to go to Rocky to add some items to the agenda.
Motion to add to the agenda to allow the Board of Mayor and Burgess to authorize Mayor Hess to execute a contract with Servium Solutions for a safety communications study. Second.
Okay, Colin, Ken,
This is just added to the agenda.
so,
We can make the motion,
yeah, so all those in favor of adding it to the agenda,
Aye.
opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to execute a contract with Servium Solutions, 10 Randall Drive, Oxford, in an amount not to exceed $8,800 in the fiscal year 2024 to conduct a public safety communications system study as recommended by Chief of Police Colin McAllister and Deputy Fire Chief Kenneth Hanks. Contract shall commence upon vendor completing all borough requirements, and the purchase order is received by the vendor.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. It looks like you're gonna start.
Yeah, so I was gonna start, I have Chief Hanks here with me, I believe Chief Kelly's on here too. This affects his service as well. So you essentially have all three of the emergency services here. I have the vendor as well, Matt Cohen on the line too. So essentially what this stems from is some of the stuff we've been working on the last couple months with the proposal or the schematics for our consolidated dispatch center in the police department. That design has just been returned to us from the architect. But there's a lot going on with our radio systems right now, so essentially the fire department's radio system is legacy. The police department's is coming out of contract, in 2 years, we're going to year 5 out of 6, we're gonna need to renegotiate that contract. It's currently about a $650,000 contract, 30–40% increases are kind of normal. And also taking into account, Chief Kelly is on a separate radio system on the state system. So all 3 of our emergency services are on separate radio bands. What that means is that Chief Hanks and I, Chief Kelly and I, we all can't talk to each other on the same radio. It's 2024, I know it's crazy. This is something we've been struggling with for decades. So what we're looking for by bringing in a third party is Chief Hanks and I, Chief Kelly and I, we'll try wrapping our heads around some of this stuff early on. And the radio systems are getting beyond our ability to even really understand them. They're subscriber based now, they're hybrid. I don't say internet based, but they're becoming extremely digital. They're not just the old radios that we used to use. So we're looking at combining a study that's going to look at interoperability with all 3 of the emergency services, the cost of that, and also how that factors in with our 3 dispatch centers currently, and the cost of our current setup and consolidation, regionalization options, all of those things, and what our current price that we're paying is. I got a lot of questions from this when I presented before the Board of Finance about our current dispatch setup, our current radio system, and unfortunately, I really couldn't answer those, and I've tried to come back and do some research, which led me down this rabbit hole of knowing that I'm way over my head with this. Chief Hank sat in at least one meeting with me, and, you know, he has more experience with this than I do.
I have a tech background, was over my head.
Yeah, we're getting overwhelmed with it, and I feel that this vendor, he has some familiarization with the borough, but he's also a third party. So I feel that Matt, he works in the fire service, he's had extensive experience with consolidating a dispatch center already, outside of our region, very knowledgeable on radio systems as well. And like I said, is also, during his formative years, worked in the emergency services here in Naugatuck, on the ambulance service. So he knows the ground here and could be familiar with it. So,
you forgot to mention he went to Naugatuck.
he went to Naugatuck High School, Matt. Matt is, I mentioned that to the mayor, Matt, so,
Yes, that I did. Grew up in Naugatuck.
what was your year, Matt?
96.
Okay, all right, okay. So Chief Hanks, have a minute?
No, just echo what Kyle said. I've been in the department a long time. And every 5 or 6 years, the idea comes up, hey, let's consolidate dispatch. And on the surface, it sounds like a great idea, but it's a lot of complexity involved with it. Not even involved in union contracts, operational procedures, our radio systems are, you said, are totally incompatible. Our system is coming up on being obsolete. We give you an example, the dispatch council in the firehouse, City of New Haven has the same one in their museum. You can't even get parts for it anymore. We bought it 20 years ago, and it was end of life at that time. We need to upgrade that. The portable radios we have are no longer being supported by Motorola. They'll fix it with parts they have left over, but as they break, they're out of service. These systems that the chief mentioned are extremely complex. There are specialties just in Connecticut, all they do is program these systems. There's a lot of interoperability, but there's also a lot of redundancy to them. So that if you lose a tower site, you can still communicate. It really is kind of odd that in 2024, in a town like Naugatuck that we can't talk to each other. And we lend radios to each other, we use cell phones, which are not reliable. So I having someone like Matt come in, take a fresh look at the whole system and present you the ideas. Come up with 2 or 3 solutions and we'll make a decision and move from there.
What other communities are going to this similar setup that you're talking about now throughout the state of Connecticut?
So there's 2 separate things here in this consulting. The first is a statewide radio system, which Chief Kelly has currently gotten the ambulance onto. So there is a statewide radio network supported. It's based off the state police, emergency services, Department of Emergency Safety, that's my belief. And there you can go onto that system for a minimal cost, but we'd abandon our infrastructure, but we would only supplement it. Additionally, And there's a lot of emergency services that are doing that. Kyle's not the only one doing it. There's a lot of communities in the area. The second part of this is other communities that have consolidated their dispatch centers. As you know, we still have 3. We need to know the dollar figure of what that would cost to consolidate and also what it's costing every year to maintain our current setup. So that's gonna give you as the elected officials some information to look at. If it's costing an additional, say, $2 million a year to fund these 3 things, we need to be able to look at the savings and consolidating and do that. I don't have the ability to do that. We've done some very preliminary legwork, and like I said, we were overwhelmed very
So
quickly.
Colin, what town, I thought you said not just.
That's been involved in the regional center in Fairfield Town. Speak to any of your the regional projects you're familiar with?
Yeah, so I was on the project management committee that managed the merging of New Canaan Fire, Westport Police Fire and EMS, Fairfield Police and Fire into a single dispatch center. That spanned several years when it comes down to, but it was a full scope project, from site selection to site design to merging of employees into that center. Other regional projects that I've worked on is project management in the Region 1 trunked radio system in Connecticut, also known as the UASI system. It's an interoperability trunk system used by all the Demis Region 1 communities. Currently working with West Haven on a subscriber, basically mobiles and portable upgrade. And also they are looking at doing a system overhaul as well. And again, several other projects that had to do with assessment of current state and again, trying to assist the parties in just filling the gaps. So some of the technological knowledge, when you speak to some of the vendors, they don't necessarily speak in layperson language. So generally I'm able to bridge that gap with the like I said, with the technological knowledge and again, the public safety background to report out, so that the parties involved are able to understand where they want to go, where they are, and basically come out with a goal that's beneficial to the town. So I don't represent any vendor per se. I don't make commission. I don't actually sell any product. I work for the town as their liaison and basically represent them to make sure that the vendors are working in their best interest.
Any other questions for Matt?
Or
Ken?
No, not for Matt, but I know that we're talking about just Naugatuck at this point.
Yes.
If he puts a plan together, would you also, or would it be also more cost effective if there were other towns involved, so say, Prospect, Middlebury, Oxford, whatever it may be, that everybody would be on the same system regionally? I'm not sure, so
But that certainly is an option, and it would depend whether we go with the state system or we build our own system in-house.
Okay.
And that's what we'll see from the consultant report.
Okay.
But yeah, that's certainly possible. Well, but Matt can answer better, but when you're on when they call it the state system,
Yeah.
is anybody in the state can basically be whatever you're talking about.
I know that, it's the Prospect, Oxford, there's resident trooper towns.
Yeah.
So they may be different, they might already be on somewhat of a state system, but not totally.
Yeah.
So that might, throw a curve into it.
Matt has his.
But that's the one we talked about it, for sure.
Yeah, I was just going to expound on that statement there. Yes, Prospect and Oxford Police currently operate on the state system. It's not necessarily the go-to. So there are benefits to it. There's cost benefits. The municipalities are responsible for building out the coverage that they desire. So whatever Naugatuck would deem necessary for coverage, they would be responsible for augmenting that system. So that's why we would look at several other options also, such as forklift upgrade of the existing communications systems, but also kind of trying to bring them together. Maybe looking at bringing them all into the same band. So like was discussed earlier, Narcotic Ambulance operates on an 800 trunk system, 7800 trunk system. Narcotic Police are UHF, and Narcotic Fire operate in VHF. So if the state system isn't the best option for Narcotic, once we look at it, how can we then bridge those gaps in the technological gaps to bring them together to where they can communicate together, and maybe leverage some of the improvements of upgrading a system so that there's less redundancy in having completely separate systems.
This has been discussed for as many years as I can remember.
Me too, Ryan.
It'd be great to see this go through. Do you hope to implement this with the new communications center at the police station, or would it be possibly before that?
So this is going to be something we'd like to present to all of you as essentially the different options and different costs associated with it, so that we can make a decision. This isn't as simple as simply saying, option A or B. There's coverage that's involved in this, levels of service, and they're all gonna have a cost associated with it, but I need to give all of you the information, because sometimes when you're making a public safety decision, you might wanna maybe pay a little bit more than necessarily the lowest cost that comes into that because of that factor. So I want to be able to explain to you what you're getting for these different options, and Matt's gonna be able to say that in ways that I really can't. So I think that's the importance of the consultant. And just to add on, one other thing Matt had mentioned too is that, and I had nothing, not speaking ill of any of our vendors or anything, but we were dealing directly with our vendors, asking them what they should sell us. And I don't know if that's the best way to come in when I'm presenting a $1 million contract or $500,000. And we don't know enough about that. And Matt's somebody who would act, like he said, in the borough's best interest as our consultant to tell us what we should maybe consider purchasing or maybe shouldn't, and lay that out before you. So it's gonna be a series of options and a series of costs would be the final result of this product, and presented in a digestible way for all of us to understand, myself included, and obviously all of you.
All right, we have a question from Burgess Gallo.
I couldn't agree with this more. Having someone come in that has an overall knowledge of communication is going to be very important. I've been a part of this kind of a meeting in 2 different communities now. The one thing I would like to urge, and maybe this is for Matt, because he's going to be kind of the overseer of this, is to make sure that you get input from a couple of patrolmen, a couple of detectives, people on different ends of the spectrum, because we have areas in Naugatuck that are like little pieces of a city, and we have rural areas in Naugatuck, and those areas behave very differently. And I just want to make sure that our folks are safe. It bothers me that there's limited communication, say at Linden Park, and there doesn't seem to be much that we can do about it. Those are big issues. And I want to make sure that boots on the ground folks are involved in that. And police officers are the first ones that came to mind. I would agree. I would also extend that to firefighters and whomever else is going to be on this system.
Great, thank you, Kim. You sound strong,
She does sound good. I feel better. So just the follow up what Kim said, our needs are a little bit different, police and fire.
Right.
From the fire department, the weaknesses we have a couple weaknesses. The 2 weak areas for communication for us is the southern end of New Haven Road and Guntown Road. We have horrible communications out there. PD works there. PD has issues at the high school and Walmart, but our radios work with high school and Walmart. So we have different, because we're on different bands, different technologies. So our problems aren't the same, but we're trying to get one solution to fix everything.
So the bottom line is we need guidance and we're gonna hire Matt.
Absolutely, yes.
All right.
I think that's the best thing to do, is to bring somebody in who has the expertise that will be able to merge these different elements that we need to tackle and to cover the areas that we need to get covered.
Plus, Matt's familiar with our operations already.
How does it affect the current towers that we have all around town? Any effect at all?
Currently, that's also something that we want to look towards, is whether we want to invest in those, abandon them, or we might need to supplement them. That's also what this looks at is, for example, one solution that we asked for increasing radio coverage at the high school was $250,000. But if we could just put up one tower for $250,000, then maybe we wouldn't need to go put up a one, there's so many different ways and I really just wanna throw money at one problem and then have that radio system be absolutely.
Yeah, we don't wanna do that either, so.
All right. Last call for questions.
I just wanna say something, guys, this is a clear case of an ounce of prevention versus a pound of cure. We spend $8,800 on a consultant to make sure we get it right the first time. We're gonna save money in the long run.
Absolutely.
We're gonna keep ourselves from wasting and band-aiding our situation. I couldn't agree with this more. I encourage everyone to vote for it and absolutely, I mean, this is, your profession is the seconds are life and death. We wanna cut those seconds down as much as we can.
Well stated. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess to add to the agenda, a motion to approve the bid for the fireworks display.
Second.
Okay, Sandra, fireworks.
We need to add it to the agenda.
All right, that was a motion to add.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the bid for contract fiscal year 25-B072 for fireworks display July 5th, 2024, rain date July 6th, 2024, to Central Maine Pyrotechnics, DBA Pyro City, Maine, Hallowell, Maine, in the amount of $20,000 as recommended by Superintendent of Parks. What I do is pointing at me.
Oh, hold on. Keep going.
As recommended by Superintendent of Parks, Sandra Rivero, contract shall commence upon vendor completing all borough requirements and the purchase order is received by the vendor.
Second.
Hold on. All right, can we have a second?
Yep.
All right, Sandra, are you there?
I just sent the message for her to unmute.
Herein lies the communication.
She probably thinks it's gonna come up much later. You know what I mean, Ralphie?
Dishes?
So,
I can text her.
yeah, but we can move on and come back to this.
All right.
I'm
All right.
here.
Okay. So Sandra, on the fireworks, was it 20 or 25? 25.
So there was some confusion on the awarding of the bid. We, the bid went out for $20,000 show and a $5,000 show. But the total line item, which I'm told by the accounting department, said just $20,000. So that's what I had to award it at to avoid going back out for a rebid. So now I could increase it to that $5,000 show. For that $5,000 show, on top of it, but I think we're gonna have to rebid if I try to add to it. So it was supposed to be a $20,000 show, which it shows there. If you see the bid spec, it says a $20,000 show and then a $5,000 show at a separate time.
We wanted a $25,000 show.
Correct. So
Right.
the only thing I could think of is either to change and just waive bid to Connecticut Maine Pyro without a dollar figure. Or we could increase it or add it afterwards.
Well, let's do this. Let's vote it through at 20 and then we'll revisit it. And at our second meeting this month, we'll see what we want.
Okay,
So we have a motion and a second. And by the way, these items are bid differently. You know, they're bid by, we put the price and the company tells us what they'll give us for that price. So, so how did the show look that they proposed for 20,000 compared to last year?
well, so I have a call out to Anthony Marzone from Connecticut Maine Pyro as of this morning, and he was taking a look because the show looked good. I mean, it's a significant show. The only thing that I had a question for him, and he was out today and was gonna get back to me in the morning, was whether or not he knew what I meant by the bid, which was a $20,000 show and a $5,000 show, or if he bid a $15,000 show and a $5,000 show, if that makes any sense. So, it's a significant show already to begin with. But
All right, let me, just to be clear, we're gonna vote tonight
Mhm.
on a $20,000 show, correct?
Correct.
And then if we want to up it to 25, we'll decide how to do that later.
Yes, you have a second meeting scheduled, a special meeting for this month?
Yes.
We will.
Okay, okay,
All right.
so we'll, they were the only bidder. For the record, they were the only company that bid on the fireworks, so, I am proposing that we award it to Connecticut Maine Pyro, Central Maine Pyro, I'm sorry.
All right, so does anyone have a question on the issue? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah, okay. Yes, so, I'm working off the amended motion. But I hereby appoint Deborah Healy, 30 Kent Street, Naugatuck, as an alternate member of the Arts Commission, filling the expired term of Anthony Jones to expire 4/1/26. And then we will, we will, not that one. Well,
14 is you.
I don't have it. Well, are you on a regular agenda?
Yes.
Going back and forth? So I also reappoint the following regular members to the Arts Commission, terms to expire April 1, 2026. Francis Santana, Anthony Jones, Frank Alcaraz, Gary Spring, Aldona Laporta, and Matthew Tansley. And I also appoint Jeffrey Erdman, 44 Osborne Road, Apartment E6, as a regular member to the Arts Commission, filling the expired term of Catherine Ersky, term to expire April 1, 2026. And I further appoint Eric Kruger, 332 May Street, as a regular member to the Arts Commission, filling the expired term of E. Worsbicky, term to expire April 1, 2026. So it's a little confusing, but what we did is we reappointed 6 members. We took 2 alternates and made them regular members, and then we added Deborah Healy as a new alternate. So as of now, I see Gary out there. You're ready to go. So stay in touch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so did we take care of everything? No, do Barkhouse. This one is a correction.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the reappointment of Kathleen Brockhausen, 139 Kingwood Drive, Naugatuck, as a member of the Saunders Trust Advisory Board, term to expire January 1st, 2026.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. If you don't know, that's the former Kathy McFadden. She got married.
I know, I was confused.
I can't spell the name.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so now we'll go to 15, I believe. And I reappoint Deputy Police Chief Dan Nork as a member of the Northwest Connecticut Public Safety Communications Center, term to expire 4/1/26. I also, no, 16 is you.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the reappointment of Dr. Robert Matus, 464 Hillside Avenue, Naugatuck, as a member of the Saunders Trust Advisory Board, term to expire January 1st, 2026.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the reappointment of Julie L. Sampaio, 20 Lynn Road, Naugatuck, as a member of the Saunders Trust Advisory Board, term to expire January 1st, 2026.
Second. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to sign contract FY 24-B068 Andrew Avenue Elementary School partial flooring replacement, state project 088-0076 CV in the amount of $145,949 with Accurate Insulation LLC, Stafford Avenue, Bristol, as recommended by the Borough of Naugatuck Standing Building Committee. Contract shall commence upon vendor completing all borough requirements and the purchase order received by the vendor.
Second. All right, Bob, you want to give us a brief explanation of these three projects?
Yeah, these are just, floor replacements. The first one here, they had bids from $118,000 to $285,000. The low bid was removed because they filed their paperwork late, so it went to the next bidder, which was $145,000.
And committee recommended it.
Yes.
Okay, any questions?
So were these, the floor, replacement, was this something that was already like,
We approved it last year.
okay, that's what I was wondering, it's
Yeah.
like, okay.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to sign contract FY 24-B069 City Hill Middle School partial floor replacement, state project 088-0077 CV in the amount of $158,662 with Accurate Insulation, Stafford Avenue, I said that wrong. Bristol, as recommended by the Borough of Naugatuck Standing Building Committee. Contract shall commence upon vendor completing all borough requirements and the purchase order is received by vendor.
Second.
Questions?
I'm
All
assuming
those
that's the
in
same
fa-
thing, right?
They're all the same thing.
Same thing. They, just to let you, a little history is the, bids were between $134K and $262K.
Good, Dorothy?
Oh, I'm good, yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to sign contract FY 24-B070 Salem Elementary School partial flooring replacement, state project 088-0078 CV in the amount of $14,396 with Accurate Insulation, Stafford Avenue, Bristol, as recommended by the Borough of Naugatuck Standing Building Committee. Contract shall commence upon vendor completing all borough requirements and the purchase order is received by the vendor.
Second.
Questions? All those,
Accurate was the lowest bid on this, and the highest bid was $31,000.
questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to sign the construction scope of services agreement for the parcel A and B Major Hub Development Project with Kleinfeld in Northeast, 400 Capitol Boulevard, Suite 104, Rocky Hill, in the amount of $53,160 to prepare bid documents, provide bid assistance, and prepare documents for bid award, as recommended by Public Works Director Jake Stewart.
Second.
All right, so, very simply stated, this is just to get everything to the point with, not just the design, but the construction documents, which they're working on now, so that we can go out to bid right away. Anything you want to add to that, Jim? Jim,
I can read
okay?
his lips.
No, hearing on moving.
Lips are moving, but you're hearing nothing. I said, this will get us through to where we have a contract with a contractor and are ready to start construction.
All right, so he didn't add anything.
Thanks for talking.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to enter into a professional services contract with SLR International Corporation, Glastonbury Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut, in the amount of $10,000 to prepare an environmental condition assessment form and the Form 3 filing for 226 Rubber Avenue, as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart.
Second.
Wait, so what am I doing? So this is the Ferrari acquisition of the old recycling center. And initially, we thought that we could escape the perils of the Transfer Act. But on further evaluation, we were advised by our engineer to transfer the property under the Transfer Act. So we are, and you know, no matter who the buyer is, you know, I believe Ferrari is still the buyer, but we're gonna have to do this anyway, so we just have to get it done, no way out.
So timing on it.
The timing is that everything will be done before the summer, and she's supposed to be getting her site plan approved and her financing in order. And if she does, she would start construction this summer or fall. If she can't, then we would come back here and decide what to do.
Okay.
Questions? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses adopt the following second amendment to MOA between Connecticut Water Company and the Borough of Naugatuck, west of Candy Reservoir, as is read. Second.
All right, so in an effort to finish before 9 o'clock, I would just state that the next three motions are all the same. There's a lot of words here, but all they do is extend the closing date a little bit so we can finalize the documents, including my newest document, which will announce that the Naugatuck CERT team is gonna help patrol the area, which is the final missing piece in our agreement with the state of Connecticut. So it was excellent timing, Tina, for you to come here tonight and agree to that. We saved some time with that, so thank you. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses adopt the following second amendment to MOA between Connecticut Water Company and the Borough of Naugatuck, west of Mulberry Reservoir, as is read.
Second.
All right, and again, so just to be clear, so we've already voted and we're acquiring three parcels from the Connecticut Water Company. One parcel, which is the largest, adjoins Del Gabo Field, and a portion of that piece will become an additional recreation field, softball, soccer. The rest of the land will be maintained as open space, as will the other two parcels in their entirety. And we are building, I should say, we're connecting some existing trails, and we're gonna have them mapped, and there's gonna be a new trail network on the east side of Naugatuck in an area that I'm sure the neighbors know about it, but the populace in general does not know that there are beautiful trails up there that go to two reservoirs, and it's a really nice hiking area, and it'll be a great addition. We're gonna GPS it, and it eventually will be on the Connecticut Trails map. And I think we plan to do that with some of our other trails. So we've made quite a few new trails in the last several years, so we're gonna get them, they're all mapped. Eventually we'll get them all on the state website. What do they call that, Rich?
The CT Trail Finder.
Okay, so we're gonna make, and you can help with that, there's something you can do.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna assign that task to you, Richard, all right? All right.
Yeah.
Glad you're
And Mayor, I'd like it to be noted that this does not include taking ownership of the reservoirs.
here. Well, the reservoirs are not in the areas we're buying.
Correct.
So to go back to it,
In case any questions that came up.
well, if anyone has a question, so the land in the reservoir watersheds that goes down toward the reservoirs cannot be sold. But the land that goes in the other direction and flows away from the reservoirs, they were given permission to sell. So going back some time, we agreed to buy 3 parcels and, we're just finishing out all of the requirements. Most of the delay was on their side with the, dotting the i's and crossing the t's with the, requirements of, I don't know, something to do with the Long Island Sound. You know the name of the group? Save the
I
Sound?
assume to take this out.
Save the Sound. Any, questions?
Will the section of Osborne Road over to the other side, is that still water company property or will that be town property?
That never was water company.
Okay.
That was, is, and will remain owned by the borough of Norwich.
Okay.
So
And
that is actually an unimproved town road.
I know that. Because I was on the subcommittee to see if we could ever connect it, and
Right.
people got crazy.
So that will be,
Yeah.
that will be part of the trail network. But it's owned by the borough.
Will there ever?
So let me try and explain it for those of you who are familiar. If you go to the cul-de-sac at the end of Osborne Road and park your car and just walk straight ahead into the woods, there's a little trail that leads to the old Osborne Road. And it's, a well-defined path, at least maybe about 2/3 of the width of this room. And it goes all the way out to
Near your house.
And not far from the, east side,
this
fire-
Yeah,
And I
it
live
goes up near the East Side Fire Station. Now, if you're on that path and you meander to the left, you will work your way down to the Mulberry Reservoir.
Behind you.
Right.
Okay.
Now, if you go into the path and head the other direction to the right, where all those dirt bikes used to race, and you continue in that direction out towards Candy Road, you will eventually work your way down to the Candy Reservoir. It's a beautiful spot. They're both beautiful spots. So, the idea here is that we're gonna have trails, and CERT is gonna make sure, together with the police and, you know, the town in general, that, you know, people are not, swimming in a reservoir and things like that. So we'll respond to complaints, make periodic inspections, and, just keep the area the way it is now. I mean, there's people walking around there now, and we'll just make sure it's, that we, do the best we can to protect the reservoirs.
Would we ever, look to connect the road again? Or leave it the way it is? Because I know that when we did it originally, and this is probably 20 years ago, we had this committee, the Osborne Road Committee, was to connect the road so it would be a, faster for fire service to get to New Haven Road from that East Side Fire Station. And a lot of different things.
I would say it's,
Connected.
it's not, not something we're looking at right now, but, who knows?
It's only like
in the
a quarter of a mile, I think, or something like that.
It's a little longer.
Half a mile or whatever, so it's extremely short.
It's not being contemplated now, but it's not out of the question either, I would say.
So,
All right, last call for questions or comments. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess adopt the following Second Amendment to MOA between the Connecticut Water Company and the Borough of Naugatuck, south of Mulberry Reservoir, as if read.
Second.
All right, same discussion. Anyone have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess adopt the following fair housing resolution as if read.
Second.
All right, so by law,
That's a roll call.
I know, we have to have this policy in place. It's relatively standard. I don't think it's different from what we've had in the past. Are there any questions or comments on the adoption of this fair housing policy? All right. Questions? Roll call. Kim Gallo,
Aye.
Charles,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
I am, aye. Rocky.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
All right, we have a unanimous vote. Julie's absent. So 9-9. Okay, let's go to the next item.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorize Public Works Director James Stewart to accept a fee in lieu of final paving from Kind Care Assisted Living, 491 Naugatuck LLC, 857 Post Road, Fairfield, Connecticut, in the amount of $47,000 for the repaving of Myrtle Avenue and Wood Street for the 491-501 North Main Street project. Kind Care Assisted Living will be responsible to make certain drainage improvements to Myrtle Avenue and Wood Street with borough supplied materials as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart.
Second.
All right. I'm just gonna say Jim negotiated this with the developer, feels it's fair. Jim, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, so, in the kind care land use approval required that they mill and repave the roads. Jeremy and I went out there and took a look at the roads, determined that it needed drainage improvements. Also, the roads were probably further gone than would be optimal for repaving, and they also had poor crowns in them. So Jeremy felt that the road should be rebuilt, so we renegotiated this amount, and worked with their contractor so that we would supply them the concrete and some pipe. They would complete the drainage improvements while they're doing their own drainage improvements at their site, and then we would get this funding. It would allow us to completely rebuild the roads from scratch.
So I
Had no
take it
cost.
you're happy with this number?
Very happy.
Okay, question?
Will they have access from either road into their property?
Yes, they do use both roads to their properties.
Okay. I didn't know if they use both roads or just North Main. So they have 3 accesses from North Main, Wood, and Myrtle.
I'm not sure that they, I'd have to look at the plans, but I know that they access from both roads. I'm not sure
Okay.
about North Main, but
Okay.
definitely both roads.
Will this be dedicated to those streets or will this go into the pool of money for roads?
No, it's good. Those streets are gonna be done with this money.
Okay.
Yes.
Right, Jeff? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
Are they gonna be done while they're building the building, right, this year?
We would like to try to get them done this year, this summer or fall.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, questions for Jim? All those in favor? Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess join the Exchange Club of Naugatuck designating the month of April two thousand and twenty-four as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the Borough of Naugatuck.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Controller Allison W. Bruce to refund the following tax refunds approved by Tax Collector James Goggin as if read.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, second public comment. Anyone in the room or on Zoom that would like to make a public comment? Or I'm gonna go to last call for public comment. Zoom, no one on Zoom?
Yes, sir.
All right, we will move to Mayor and Burgess comments. And, we will start this evening with the distinguished Burgess from the east side, Charles Morenger.
I have nothing to report today. In the interest of time, I'll hold off my report till next month.
Wow.
Thank you. Mike?
I have no comment.
And Mike's from the west. All the rest of us are on the east.
I'm on the good side of town.
Megan,
I will echo Charlie, I've got nothing.
Dorothy,
I got nothing.
Fran?
One thing.
I knew you were.
Get off.
No, the good, last year we talked about supporting the farmers market, and I know we're trying to expand to get, different food types into the farmers market, and, you know, do we have plans to, you know, support their expansion and help promote, you know, the farmers market to get more people to participate in it?
Yeah, so, we wanna have a first-class farmers market, so we're getting, we're promoting it and trying to get more vendors, so, you know, we wanna have a meat vendor, you know, cheese, eggs, dog biscuits, you know, all types of new things. So last year, we set aside $5,000 for entertainment. Now, we didn't spend it last year, and they did okay last year. I'd say they had a successful year, but they didn't really expand, you know, it was sort of the same people that are there all the time, so, I think I would, and I think a lot of people would like to see a higher end, or I'll say a more expanded farmer's market. So, I wanted to put that $5,000 or retain it so that we can, you know, maybe have, I'll say music, a bounce house, things like that, to get people to the green on Sundays to, you know, expand the farmer's market.
When there's no fencing around it.
Yeah,
When there's no fencing around it.
Well, that's it, so
I thought there was.
there won't be fencing around it, but, the fencing that
Get
will
fencing around.
be looked at.
Is that the best spot during our construction process? Have we looked at an alternative spot? that
Well,
might be
let's say
best?
this, it's the best spot unless they're working there.
I get
So,
it.
so it's gonna be, if it's not there, well, and there will be times when it can't be there. Because they're also gonna do those sidewalks.
Yeah.
So the very sidewalk they have it on, will be redone, so, so we would have to relocate it for probably, I'm just gonna estimate, 20% of the days.
How much space do they use?
So they use the length of the sidewalk on Cedar Street, so the length of the green.
Could
Does it have to be
they
outdoors?
relocate it to like the senior
Bank
center?
building?
To what?
Could they relocate it to the senior center area?
Too much traffic.
Yeah.
But the Bank of America
I don't know if that's the best area,
Bank of
but
America area.
That's
Bank of America.
Yeah.
You know, the Historical Society has a decent amount of property there too, if you
I
have
was
to
gonna
use an
mention that,
open
too.
area. That is still town
Where the
land.
field is and everything.
Maybe then some kind of partnership with the Historical Society to encourage people to use the facility, go to the downstairs area where the museum is, can be incorporated with the fire numbers.
Unless there's a game going on, then parking will be tough
Okay,
on the field.
but that's St. Francis, I'm talking the field that's
But it's
the
adjacent.
shaded treed area, yeah.
Yeah.
But usually Sunday mornings are not, you're not gonna see the games.
Just church.
Megan, did you want to say something?
No, I was just saying the same, like that's a good location, or the Bank of America building, because then they have the option to go inside if it's a rainy day and not lose out on sales as well. And then we have the
You mean
parking
at the
lot.
Bank of America?
Yeah,
I'm not against it.
It's an option.
and we have it, might as well use
And
it.
then, you also have the street there between Church and, Meadow. It's up there next to the St. Francis Field that, all that concrete work will be already done up that area. If you're looking to just to close that street off and have it there, and they can maybe utilize St. Francis Field too, if they wanted to put a bounce house there or something,
I just would keep it consistent from the beginning, maybe not have it on the green, it's just gonna confuse people.
Just give it a year of not being on the green, if that's okay, there's nothing wrong with that.
I think we're gonna shoot to start on the green with the Bank of America as the best alternate site.
Awesome,
Is that the best alternate site?
Yeah, the only time is, during the week, was it Wednesday they have it also?
Well, I don't think we're gonna, I think it's gonna be just Sunday.
Just Sunday then.
Because nobody parks in them.
And then it's right there where the
Sunday,
churches
Sunday.
are, like that'd be nice for people to be able to, kind of shoot for their after
So,
church maybe.
let me ask this question, do we wanna change the site to the Bank of America?
Why not?
Yeah, as long as it's just Sunday.
Well, we have to notify the state if we're going to. I don't know exactly what the rules are,
I think
but
wherever we
I
do
know
it,
we have to notify them.
I get that it's always been on the green, but I think with the construction and the inconsistency, wherever we have it, it should be where it's gonna be the whole
And
season.
I like
Flexible.
I like the indoor thing.
Well, we just have to notify them.
Okay, I'm just wondering, are they flexible for two different locations?
Yeah, no, it has to do with the fact that vouchers are given out, so they have to, be aware of where it is. I'm going to, let's just, today are we good with the money, the 5,000?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with that, and, what I'll do is, we don't even have to vote. I'll put that in the budget and we approve it there, it's in. And then, I'm gonna discuss with some of the vendors the location, but it makes sense to me.
What's their start time on a Sunday? So it's not conflicting with church services, especially if we're gonna have music and so forth. I don't want interrupting with existing services.
Well, they have music too.
Well, they do, it seems like, to not interfere with the worship.
I think it's around 10, yeah.
10 o'clock? 10 to 1 and 10 to 2.
But I mean, even when it was on the green, it was.
There were some problems with the congregation church
Yeah.
at St. Michael's when.
For
it got
parking and stuff.
Parking
Right.
and it wasn't most conducive to those two churches,
Yeah.
the start time.
I
They
think
started at 11, you're good, basically everything's done by 11.
if the music is at the bottom of the parking lot, the Bank of America,
But music, parking, the whole shebang,
yeah.
that's all like, what, we know people at St. Francis Church like to park in the professional building
3 to
across the
5.
street. Sometimes that's controversial too. So it's just, we wanna make sure we're not gonna add another issue before people can park from, who go to church there.
All right. Rich, would you have Christine O'Neill call me tomorrow?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. All right, where are we on the comments?
We'll have a friend.
Kim,
Well, it had to do with food.
oh, you're on Bob.
Started it.
Wow.
And then Kim.
I'm good, but Naughty baseball is off to a 2-0 start.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Handle
so,
Oxford, that was good.
But that kid, Siska pitched a good game.
Just a bit swell. Good kid.
I know his uncle.
Oh, yeah.
He's from Ansonia, huh? But he tackled a lot of Ansonia guys in a football game. All right, Kim, I can't overlook you.
Okay, Exchange Club offered a $200 donation to the Elderly Commission for the annual Wellness Day. That's going to be used to buy the snacks that are there and so forth. And it occurred to me that the elderly folks don't do a lot of soliciting for materials, and they don't, there's not really a lot of opportunities for them to be recognized or to say that this is what they're doing and this is important, an important part of the community. So I was glad that the Exchange Club offered to donate that money, and as a liaison, Julie and I talked about ways that we could solicit a little bit more support for them for the small things. They absolutely enjoy everything that you do. And I just thought it was a good idea. We hear about first responders, we hear about teachers, we hear about, kids that are doing something important, and all those are great. But the elderly, that is a very important service in town. And I wonder how many lonely elderly people don't take advantage of the service because they don't really understand what it is. So that would be a good thing to talk about. Julie was able to visit the trades union class, and the kids are very excited about kind of picking their trades now that they have a bigger knowledge of what actually the trade unions are. And they're also going to be given opportunities to work on all this development that we're talking tonight. Not every single one of them, but some of them are going to be great opportunities for our kids to have a first experience in working with the trades. And I'm very excited about that. And other than that, it's how many laps can I do around the living room and kitchen and family room during the day? And I'm up to about a dozen, so I'm doing okay. That's with a walker, but
Good.
I'm doing okay.
Great.
Yep.
When are you gonna start putting?
My plan is to start with the ladies league on the 27th. And I obviously can't compete, which will drive me nuts, but I will go and, ride a cart and do some putting, and when I'm ready, do some chipping so that I continue to stay active and move towards the time when I can play golf. My surgeon says 3 months. Now that I'm into this, that feels optimistic, but that's okay. I'm going to stay with it. So my return to on a very limited basis to golf will be at the end of the month.
All right, well, you look great, so keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rocky?
Just a few things, because 15 of them are time sensitive. I'm only kidding. I'm getting more and more questions lately from people about things on various town websites that are incorrect or conflicting. Just as an example, somebody had asked about a fence, when do they need a permit? And one place that I looked said 6 feet, the other place that I looked said 7 feet. And I confirmed with Bill that it was 7 feet, but yet we have some pages you go to that say 6 feet. And I'm finding this in many different departments in town, that if you want to look up something, it's very difficult because it says one thing here and it says another thing there. I would just hope that the department heads take that seriously, because we need to get the information, correct information out to the public. And they have somebody do a search on their department and see all the information that comes up, see what's incorrect and take care of correcting it. Because really, I do get a dozen questions a week about all different things with the different departments on when can you do this, how do you do that, what are the specs for this? And really, it's when I go to look it up, I find conflicting information pretty much in every department. So I'm hoping that somebody can take care of updating the information. It's gotta be the department, because an IT person doesn't know the details. The department knows the details.
Well, let's stop there and dissect that a little. Jim, so like, on the town website right now, let's just pick land use.
Sure.
What's up there?
We have up there, well, we've got the regulations, the POCD.
With the most recent one?
Most recent ones that were given from land use.
Okay,
If there is, for example, conflicting information on the building site that's old or is newer or supersedes what's there, as Rocky pointed out, there was no way that I would know that if I'm given a document.
right.
But maybe we can reach out to the department head and say, you guys have a lot of different regulations that are out there. Can you cross-check them against the other departments that you work with? You know, land use,
Right,
happens
so
to
building is
building and
one.
engineering, you know,
So
so.
if you could, Rocky, send me a list of the ones that you need, feel to be corrected, I will direct the department heads to deal with it.
Okay, but I'm sure there's more than that.
I know, I just,
For example, I looked at the transfer station. In one place, it says they're open Tuesdays in July, in another place, it says March. So I looked at two different things and I had no,
Not up to date.
you know, it's just, it's all over the place, things like that.
That one I've noticed as well,
Yeah,
yeah.
and there's been a couple in the past
I
couple of
want you to
months.
send me a list of what you think needs to be corrected, okay?
Okay, Thursday, April 4th is a benefit for Officer Chip Schofield at the Ex-Elks Club. I would hope that everybody attends that and gives them some support. Also, Kim mentioned Senior Wellness Day. That's Thursday, April 18th from 8:30 to 1 at the Senior Center. And the Exchange Club is running their Community Champion Banquet at the Crystal Room on April 23rd. You can get a hold of any Exchange Club member to get tickets to that. It honors people in town, and I think that's one of the best things that we do here, is honor people. That's it.
And I'll just say, speaking of honoring people, tomorrow night is the Mary Conley Award. Pedro Pyros is the recipient, well deserved.
I'll be there.
Even though we went the whole cross and not know.
It's got a lot of pluses.
Yes, it does.
All right, we'll take comments from the audience. Hearing none, let's go to,
It is 8:45. Motion to recess to executive session at 8:45 PM for discussion on the following. Real estate parcels A, B, C, Y, and Z, Novisoc Industrial Park, Section 3, lots 2, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, Hershey Property, Amazon Project, former recycling center, Rubber Avenue, Ferrari Appliances, and pending litigation.
second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
See ya.
All right, I will reconvene the regular meeting at 9:49. We're coming out of executive session. I will entertain a motion that I be authorized to enter into a development agreement regarding lot 11 in Naugatuck Industrial Park, Section 3, with Cyril James or an entity that he establishes on terms discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion or questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Right. I will also entertain a motion that we enter into a development agreement with International Supply Company regarding lot 12 in Industrial Park, Section 3 on terms discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second. Do we have any questions or discussion? I'll just note that, we have other people who will be coming in and, hopefully we'll be finalizing lot 9, in the not too distant future. We've got interest in several other sites. And, we plan to start, road construction this summer. And these projects, once finalized, will also commence construction this year. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next item.
Motion to adjourn at 9:51 PM.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Solo, amigo.